Flyover State of Film was shot in front of a live studio audience.
During it was a whoops.
All right, guys, welcome to a new episode of Flyover State of Film with ya boys. We got Brian, TJ, Jusef, and myself, who is a talk star now. So that is what I will be talking about. This whole episode is the talk of how to become a viral sensation. First of all, you have to get a good camera. Second of all, get a ring light. Third of all, put some nice nail polish on your feet. Third of all, get an OnlyFans and show your butthole. So, speaking of buttholes,
those are the 5 steps to fame.
Yeah.
There.
Speaking of buttholes, they revealed a new looking Joker.
Before we actually talk about it.
Normal question. What's up, guys?
I'm confused. I'm confused as to, is it like they are reshooting?
So
this is like
they
or was
read
it
the
test
Variety article. It's so they have a Zack Snyder just wanted to put the Joker in it forever, but he just didn't think of a way. So now it's going to be just a sequence in the Nightmare Realm after Darkseid took over, and it kind of. It's like the Joker talking to Batman directly about how he let Robin die, and that's why he looks different because he's been in Arkham or something like that, or in the insane asylum. He escaped when Darkseid came, and it's they're gonna also explain why it has the Joker card on his gun. Yeah, Brian, exactly. The article I just was this is way too much. Just way too much. And it's probably
it's just he's just so desperate to shoehorn this in there that he's gonna take an already stupid, convoluted part of the movie and just make it more, make it more bloated, more it's.
And he made it clear that it's not David Ayer's Suicide Squad Joker. It's just
great, another fucking Joker.
Yeah,
but it's played by Jared Leto.
Yeah, he said he deserved a shot at really getting into what Zack Snyder thought.
Listen,
I just hate this so much.
Didn't he suck his dick on Twitter though? Didn't he say "Oh, David Ayers gave me a great character. I'm happy, blah blah blah."
Man.
So he's just not gonna use it.
Totem is not. If he's not wearing a wedding ring, then he's not in the dream world. But if he's wearing the wedding ring, then he's in the dream world, guys. Don't you understand?
I thought his totem was damaged on her forehead.
Yeah, exactly.
So he doesn't have damage.
He doesn't have damage on his head.
I thought
it's not real.
The Suicide Squad movie and the joke version of Joker is trash, but at least it was something interesting and different, and they try. Literally, I saw those pictures and I was like, that looks like a cosplay, like an edgelord cosplay of the Heath Ledger Joker, the smeared makeup and the long hair, and it's just it just feels just equally derivative. It's just I mean.
What if he's got makeup? What if he just has really chapped lips, or just that one kid in class whose face is just red? He's just going all day with his chapped lips. And
what's weird is that he's actually a vampire.
I have an idea. What if the Joker is a failed comedian? Hey, hear me out. And he has mental problems and can't decide reality, so he creates his own reality, thus killing a Robert De Niro implant in his own fantasy while assaulting a little boy.
He just looks like a teenager like a teenage girl or man that or boy that doesn't know that he has oily skin, so he bought foundation for dry skin. So it's just glistening over all that foundation.
He's
that he
very
put on.
satiny. Yeah.
My father was a Marilyn Manson fan.
I have a feeling we're gonna watch the Snyder Cut, and it's just gonna look like Joel Schumacher's Batman Forever. Like it's just gonna be like
No, it'll be way more like washed out and like that's too
But
colorful.
I feel like
has chaps in it. You know,
I feel like I've blocked out these movies from my head. What is exactly the Nightmare?
Bro, so that's when it's like the deserty and Batman's
but how
duster.
Isn't that like a dream Batman
it's
has?
Like an alternate. It's like a dream / alternate future, maybe.
I have a question about that also.
What's up?
I have a question about that also, but then didn't that happen in Batman vs Superman? Not the Justice League?
Yes, that's my confusion.
Now you get them actually being shot together, and he just gets a chance, I guess, to do a Flash and Batman like moment that's going to involve Jared Leto now. Because they didn't talk about him being in the actual like when the movie's taking place in real time. It's just that sequence. So
God.
And also, what's with all like? I think Brian, you said this like, adding just putting these pictures in black and white doesn't do anything. Like it's not like
it's not.
It's like there's
whatever
like that. It's just, he's just like shouting back to when like they did the first Batman reveal like next to the Batmobile.
Yeah, the first time we saw Sad Fleck when he was like, hang dog.
Do you know what it reminds
my dad died.
My dad. I don't mind my parents.
My dad and mom.
I can't believe I didn't.
Curls.
The photos remind me of, in South Park, the Halloween episode when the devil's like having a tantrum about being the Crow. He's like, I want to be the Crow. It's gonna be super badass. I'm the only one that has a Crow at my birthday party. Like that's Jared Leto looking like he wants to be in these photos.
Yeah, that's true. He does look a lot like the Crow in those pictures.
Speaking of the Crow,
but the thing about the Crow, that's a good movie.
Speaking about the Crow, the Craven. Now Keanu Reeves is going to be is they're tapping him to be Craven the Hunter. Do we care about that at all?
Sure.
That casting is fine, but like, don't do a Craven movie before you introduce him in a Spider-Man movie like they're trying to do with Morbius. Please stop doing that. No. Like, they think that because the Joker was successful, there's not a single Spider-Man villain that registers on the same level as the Joker. That has the same level of, like, cultural permeation. Like, not even close. Not even close.
Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2.
Like, Venom barely made it. Venom was barely famous enough. And, I mean, yes, that movie did fine. It's very bad / weird good. I don't know. It's not.
They were like Aquaman. It's just like you can watch it. I think it's like.
Yeah, Aquaman's kind of. Aquaman. Also, you know how they say sometimes like, turn your brain off and watch this. Aquaman feels like it reaches out and turns your brain off for you. It's like nope.
But I like Aquaman enough. You're like. I liked Aquaman enough because it had the fucking octopus playing drums. I was like, that's cool.
That's like a
TJ and I watched that together.
2.5 hour movie. You cannot watch a 2.5 hour movie based on a 4-second thing with an octopus thing.
That's why you know what else I remember of that?
He's like 2.5 hours just dragging, and then he sees that. He's like, actually, this is good.
And then, they have the really great song, Mashup Africa, that Pitbull did in that movie.
Oh my God, yes.
So.
I was always confused as to why Aquaman, like, the costume design, they were like, you know what? In this sequence, he needs dress shoes and an open up shirt and some Dockers. And it's like
they go to the set. They go to the set of Mamma Mia, so they wanted him to be dressed like Pierce Brosnan.
I was so fucking confused.
He's got like a white shirt with the sleeves rolled up and some loafers on.
Yeah.
Yo, I did want to say.
But like going back to like Craven, like what do you expect? Is like you're gonna get like a kid that was probably raised and taught shit, and then he is probably good at some point, and something happens to someone he loves, and he turns like the dark side type shit, and just like
I don't know how in our current climate in the world, you make a big game hunter sympathetic.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of that'll be an interesting line to try to walk if you're going to try to make him the protagonist of a movie.
My pro also
I always
is,
thought they were gonna put him as the villain of Black Panther 2. I honestly thought they
that
were
would
gonna.
be good.
That would actually
Was Craven ever really involved with Black Panther though? Is that
He has some
thing?
storylines.
Okay,
He has-
all right. I'll buy.
Yo,
I'll
but
bite.
I have a thing though. It's specifically about Keanu being Craven, and it's that I just want Keanu to just make movies that aren't attached to the MCU or the superhero movies. Like be Constantine if you're gonna be Constantine. Yeah, I'm just getting tired of like this actor's popular, let's so put him in, and that's just like my own personal like, film.
Yeah, and I feel like he
annoyance.
doesn't have the personality of.
Yeah,
when you think about Craven from the Spider-Man animated series. He has so much energy and so much like charisma, and
Nick Cage
Keanu's
is
so
great.
muted.
Give
Yeah,
that
he was
juice
like an
roll-
over-the-top personality.
Give
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, but that would be cool to see Keanu try to do something a little bigger and out of it, like get out of his kind of like wheelhouse a little bit and go a little more energetic.
Stop pretending that Keanu knows how to act. Like we can stop pretending.
That's fair.
I like.
He
him
doesn't
as-
have. You're right. He doesn't have range. I'm not gonna lie.
But
maybe he does.
I don't know. Have you
Oh,
seen him as the handsome doctor in Something's Gotta Give? He sweeps
have.
Diane Keaton off her feet.
He he just did Bill and Ted, so he's still got comedy in his wheelhouse, right? I mean,
No,
Speaking of comedies, how funny-
punches.
How funny does M. Night Shyamalan's Old look?
Oh my God! You're just trying to segue everything, Joe.
Yeah, guys, I'm on. Well,
I have to. I'm not gonna lie. When I heard that M. Night was remaking Time Trap, I got pretty excited.
So
It looked like dog shit. Like it looked so bad.
it was like the first trailer of the Super Bowl too, so like you all
Yeah.
kind of saw it. If you were
What's it?
Can you
watching,
imagine paying that much money?
Is
to
it?
be
It's
the
in
Super Bowl
theaters,
with
right?
that
So
dog
do we
shit?
want to take bets on which service it's gonna come to?
HBO Max has to. Oh, it was already teased.
Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus is a
Crackle.
good one. Peacock, no, it's not Peacock.
Crackle.
Peacock's too good. They're too good for that.
No, but like, especially in theaters, like that shit's getting moved.
Yeah, like, who you even kidding, man?
I just
Like I understood the concept. Like they would go into the woods and they come back older, right? But then they showed a girl that got pregnant and is giving birth, and I was like, so she went in there and she got fucked. Like what? What are the powers of this
Time
woods?
travel.
I'm sure it's gonna be like something weird to where like near the end, when you go into these woods, what happens is you get
It's people with
transported to your
masks.
whole life. Like your whole life, what you would be doing if you were not on this island your whole life. So like she probably went out, had a boyfriend over time, got pregnant, then comes back at 21 pregnant through the woods. It's gonna be something weird like that.
I'm just
Where
gonna
like-
watch Time Trap again, y'all.
I think I would watch Time Trap.
I like M. Night
Honestly,
Shyamalan. He's
I'll
from-
tell you what. I'll tell you what. Old isn't gonna have, and that's Fergie or whatever that kid's name was. And there you go.
Dude,
Oh,
actually he would be an M. Night Shyamalan character, and you know it. Like the M.
That's
Night
true.
would for sure give that kid the camera and go like, just talk, just be
Well, he's got
young and be
That
hip.
character basically is in The Visit.
Well, he's got that Nat Wolf kid now, so like he's gonna be coming off of Hereditary into an M. Night Shyamalan. Is it a horror movie or just like a psychological thriller?
Psychological thriller. That's
Yeah,
a great
it's
way to
probably
kill
psychological thriller. I mean, you have that M. Night shit where they're probably marketing it more as a horror movie, but it's probably less than.
And I mean, I'm a fan. I like M. Night. I would say he has, for me, more hits than misses. But when he misses, goddamn, does he fucking miss?
This looks like a
Like,
miss.
that's the
This looks too heady for
I'm
M.
gonna
Night.
see it. I'm gonna see it, but
I don't think
guys
he's
remember
good at
Lady in the
doing-
Water?
yeah.
I
You
don't
guys
think
remember
M. Night-
Glass?
Which is my dick.
That's
That's
stunk.
Just kidding. I would not do
I
that.
don't think M. Night's good at big sprawling concepts and putting them
You
together.
should fucking stop writing movies and just start directing.
Yeah.
Remember
So
when he had the hero of his movie get drowned in a puddle?
because Bruce Willis didn't want to act.
Shit about.
This movie sucked.
Fuck him. I don't know.
So, do a fun transition out of this whole.
Transition there, Joe.
All right, guys. Speaking of old and dumb, let's talk about Falcons. You know what Falcons are? They're old and dumb.
Whoa.
I don't know. Disney Plus is the Falcon and Winter Soldiers is coming out. You got any thoughts on that?
No.
Are you gonna watch it, or is it gonna be like?
I'll watch it.
WandaVision?
I haven't watched WandaVision, but I'm kind of just like letting it. I am gonna watch it. I just kind of want to let it come out, and then I'll watch it.
Yeah, I'm
at
doing
my
the
own
same
pace.
thing. I already got spoiled for me because the internet.
I haven't been paying too close of attention, but I figured like they're not gonna be like, I know they're gonna be creative and different, but like there's only a few different things they're gonna do. So like I know that the show did one of the 3 things it was gonna do. You know what I mean? So I'm fine. Well, whatever. I'll still check it out.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting what WandaVision did. I said I saw it all on the internet, but pointless to talk about if no one's seen it here. All right.
But yeah, I'll check out Falcon and Winter Soldier. I thought Baron Zemo was an underrated villain. I like Civil War, still one of my favorite in the MCU.
Did you see the explanation
I think he's
for
good.
why he uses the mask?
Yeah, he's gonna wear a mask for some reason. So let's find out.
Wears it. Supposedly, he wears it in like threatening, like a way for them to like. It looked like Thanos, like the way the chin is and all that stuff to like remind the Avengers about what happened to him. Just like
I thought we were tying the universe of Jim Carrey's The Mask into the MCU because everything needs to be connected now, guys. Right? Did you guys see?
He would be like the most powerful villain ever. Like the powers of the mask are like inconceivable.
I mean, did you guys?
Well, now wait a minute.
That,
The mask belongs to Loki. How does that tie in with Thor's Loki? Like the Loki that already exists in the MCU.
Well, see, it's already there, Joe. It's already connected.
It's just like how apparently the Incredibles are tied into the MCU.
Fuck off.
Because a plane crashed into a building and then there's a similar shot in the back. Because guys, guess what? Nothing could be on its own anymore. It all has to be fucking connected. And if you don't like it, then you better cancel the Disney Plus subscription.
There are only 2 movies in the history of cinema where there's a helicopter falling in a city. Like literally only 2. So how could you say that there's not connected?
Let me go to my whiteboard, okay?
It's gotta be a whiteboard.
What's got retired when we close the schools?
Transitioning out of that, motherfucker.
All right. So speaking of that embarrassing segment, what is, based on our movie this week, which is not another teen movie, what is an embarrassing movie or role that features a big star? Either in their youth or at any point in their career, but something they are definitely not proud
You want to
of.
reword that question into English? I mean, Jesus.
Okay.
Solve the riddle. If D wants to
All 3 of you
answer.
guys went to college, and I'm just like, what the fuck?
Embarrassing old movies for big stars.
Yeah, big stars. Embarrassing early roles for big stars. Come on, Joe. You get there.
Sorry.
I
was doing so well. Do you think I would transition perfectly?
It was going pretty good.
I'm gonna go for this one. I mean, this franchise has a big place in my heart for the poster behind me. But like this movie, I'm pretty sure this guy wishes he could take it back. I mean, it was in his like early days from when he was doing, God, what's that Kirk Cameron show? Guys,
I know exactly what TJ is picking.
Yep.
Oh, of course. I knew.
Family
That's why I
Ties?
didn't even bother to write that one down. It's a classic.
Yeah.
Is it
Critters
Family
Growing
Ties?
Pains was the show.
Growing Pains.
Yeah, Growing Pains. Critters 3, Leonardo DiCaprio. That movie,
My
I
Halloween
love.
pick.
Yes,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Joe had
Couple years
to go through all 4 of these movies. Did you watch the newer ones too? Like the ones that came out like 2 years ago?
They just made like a new one, right? At least.
Yeah.
No, I think I had the 4-pack like DVD bundle, and that was not on there.
Hey, Brad Dourif's in the fourth one. Also Angela Bassett, which there you go. I'm gonna double down then. Critters 4.
Yeah.
Angela Bassett is probably like, God damn it.
Can I because that is like a goofy ass role for Leo.
Yeah.
Can I piggyback? It wasn't my choice, but can I piggyback off of that because it's the same kind of movie?
Yep.
Would you consider Jennifer Aniston?
I had this written down right next to it. Yep.
Yeah, I also
like
wrote
that?
down Jennifer Aniston in Leprechaun.
Okay,
Yeah.
then that is confirmed. you know, and these are the movies I would like hope if you were ever like interviewing a celebrity, it wouldn't be on their do not ask junket list. Like, I know like John Cusack has, you're not allowed to ask him about Con Air. Same with what's his face, Cyrus the Virus, Malcolm.
Oh yeah, but that's a great movie.
John Malkovich.
John Malkovich. Yeah. You're not allowed to ask him either. So like, I would love to ask Leo. It's like, okay, cool. So we're talking about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So tell me about the Critters 3. Like, were you excited to be on
How was
that?
practical effects?
Yeah, that's one of those questions that like he'd probably be like, yeah, I'm asked the same shit every day. I kind of want to answer this stuff, but like.
The way he would have you hauled off the set immediately.
It'd be like it's like Leprechaun's a cult classic.
Off of his yacht.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he would go back to banging broads with headphones on. He doesn't like look at them in the eye. He like vapes and wears headphones and just like they do their thing. That's a legit rumor about.
I love you, Leo. Love you. Leo. All right, who's next?
No, you got anything else there, TJ, with that one?
No,
that's a classic pick.
I mean, I'm sure Brad Dourif has been in stuff like the what is the Graveyard Shift, which I just watched recently for the first time, which is actually pretty fun and good.
Yeah, Brad Dourif's more like a character actor. He's not like a star.
Yeah, but Leo and Jennifer Aniston, even Angela Bassett, and like especially Angela Bassett, Critters 4. Like, I'm pretty sure it's a body double, but she does have a nude scene, her character. But it's like one of those things. Yeah. So.
Yeah. I have one, and I can't remember if it was embarrassing, but it's one of those old movies like that. Brad Pitt, so Leo's counterpart. Brad Pitt is in a movie called Cutting Class. And he plays. It's like a really bad. I don't even think it's a slasher, but it's like a murder, like high school movie, and he just gets murdered in it, and he's the boy, and he's not good in it. I can't. That and this is embarrassing role, but not an old one. One that came to mind is everyone who did Battlefield Earth.
I've never seen that.
That killed Barry Pepper's chance to be a leading man.
Yeah. So like John Travolta like has to be embarrassed by Battlefield Earth.
That really killed John Travolta's comeback. Like he was from like Pulp Fiction up through that. He was doing like, you know, he had some hits, Michael, Phenomenon. He was like doing some he used all that cachet he built up and he was like, yeah, we're gonna do my passion project. Battlefield Earth, and it was like,
I fucking love Swordfish. Just gonna put that out.
Yeah,
No.
but it was a passion project because it was based on Scientology's like
it's an L. Ron Hubbard book, right? It's based on an L. Ron Hubbard book.
It's before I think like the start of Dianetics and like what they believe in. So it's like it's before everyone was really wind of like Scientology. So
right. I don't remember anybody knowing that, at least not that I was aware of at the time, but that's kind of common knowledge now.
Like, I'm sure John Travolta in particular has movies from the 70s that it's like, oof, why did you do that?
Whatever, fucking Look Who's Talking Now is embarrassing.
Actually, let's just talk about John Travolta for a minute. We got Old Dogs, him and Robin Williams, unfortunately. The Fan, which, by the way, I mean The Fanatic. Gotti.
I haven't seen Gotti, man. It has such a big reputation that I've never actually wanted to explore it.
Much like we're going to talk about here in a little bit, I don't waste my time with movies that look bad. There's good movies to watch.
Gotti isn't good. You guys, spoiler, Gotti wasn't good. And it was spliced with like a stock photo, and a dead John Gotti narrates you through the movie. And he's kind of represented as the hero. You remember at the end of Notorious when they take Biggie's body through the streets and they clip in the real shots from Brooklyn? Mm-hmm. Well, they did that, but with Gotti.
No, I don't remember Notorious scenes.
And you're like, he's a mob boss. What are you doing? Like at the end of Goodfellas, they're not like, yeah, Henry Hill. Like, we love this man.
He's a hero.
This fucking chair.
So anyway, welcome to Flyover State of Gotti, where we're just going to talk about.
We're done talking about John Travolta.
I'm over it.
I got one, guys. So I watched this movie last night, And this person, when you think about where this person is at in their career now and the level of reverence they receive and like the pedestal they're on and like the heights, the idea that they would lower themselves to do something like this now is laughable. Like if this person it was announced to do something like this project at this point, you would be shocked. And that is Beyonce in Goldmember.
My girl. She needs to embrace that movie, man.
Not only is that movie fucking terrible,
It's
holy crap.
terrible.
Every couple years I like forget and I'm like, maybe it's not as bad as I remember. And I rewatch the first two and I'm like, I love these movies. These movies are so good. And then I put in the third one and I'm like 15 minutes in, I'm like, oh, this is just trash. This is just everything about this is bad and wrong. And Dr. Evil looks like a cartoon character and like they put weird extra blue contacts in so he doesn't look like a real person anymore.
Oh yeah, he looks fucking weird in that movie. That's true.
But
it's so bad. It's just but
that's
like
a good pick.
even if like okay, even like taking that away and just being like okay, whatever, it's just the third Austin Powers movie. The idea of like where like the way the society kind of like puts Beyonce now and like the kind of like respectability kind of like high, she's very high class and very dignified and everything. And then you watch that movie and she's all playing a bad parody of like a 70s blaxploitation character.
What other movies has other than like she's like
okay guys,
Carmen.
all right, TJ, I got you. I could tell you what she's been in. So after Goldmember, she was in a movie called The Fighting Temptations with Cuba Gooding Jr. It was like a marriage, like dramedy, comedy type movie. It wasn't very good. Cuba Gooding Jr. also did Boat Trip. I'd like to add that to the submission of embarrassing movies.
I have other things I want to talk about. I don't really care about Beyonce's filmography.
And then Beyonce did Obsessed, which was
I think you skipped over Pink Panther, sir.
I forgot she was in the Pink Panther, which is more embarrassing than Goldmember. And then she did Dreamgirls, and she really hasn't acted since Dreamgirls, which she got out on a high note, I think.
She's in Dreamgirls?
Yeah, I mean, because there's Oscar noms in that one and everything.
Dreamgirls.
Yeah. Anyway, the other one, and I think it's because horror is a fertile ground for this, but Paul Rudd in Halloween 6.
Oh,
I love that movie.
I like it, but it is also bad. Like two things can be true.
Shout out to Anthony Michael Hall playing Tommy Doyle and stupid ass other one.
Yeah, he's gonna come back and bring back Tommy Doyle.
You know how bad that movie is? If you go to our one of our fucking episodes, I talk about this. I have the Blu-ray of that movie, and they purposely put it out and never corrected it, where the audio does not sync with the visuals. The Curse of Michael Myers.
That's so sick.
So it's half a second off. I can't even watch the disc.
When you're 47, that could be like at least $18 on the.
Yeah, that'll be like especially. I have the producer's cut. Also, still bad. They couldn't. You can't polish a turd.
Save that DVD for your college fund, kids.
Yeah. That like movie falls for me like when I was probably 13, 14-ish, just like with your buddies on a fucking like Saturday night. Obviously you're not drinking yet, so you're just fucking, let's go to Blockbuster, get a movie. You put that on, just like get first pair of boobs, not first pair. I mean, there's other ones, but like at that point.
But there are boobs, yeah.
It's a good rental.
Yeah.
It's it's right before horror's comeback. It's like right like in a year or two before Scream or whatever. So it's like right in that sweet spot when horror was really at its low point.
Yeah.
Like I said, I like it, but I also know it's not good.
It's fair.
It's fair. It's as long as you could admit that.
That's my movie taste.
It's funny. I have a point when we talk about not another teen movie to talk about movies like renting like that and the DVDs because. Anyway, I'll save it. But Jusef, what do you got?
That movie a lot.
I picked Viola Davis in Suicide Squad. How fucking embarrassing is that?
Guys,
but it's supposed to be early roles, not in the midst of her successful career.
I don't know. I'm just more embarrassed for her because of that. She just delivered an amazing performance. She's gonna get nominated for Oscars, and then there's all this fucking suicide photos and shit, and I just keep thinking, God damn it, she's in that movie, right? She's in that movie.
I'm gonna go to Twitter. And there's a couple accounts that are praising her for the acting she did in Suicide Squad. So you better take that back. Their names are Hector Navarro, Yvonne Taylor. I'm probably. Let's see. The whole feed when that movie came out, because they couldn't fucking say, everyone was shitting it. It was like, well, powerful performance. Why wasn't she nominated for an Oscar?
I
got them all.
I have no ill will towards Hector Navarro, but that dude has questionable taste at best. I'm just gonna say that. Just gonna keep it politically correct and
Me too.
and nice. But yeah, I didn't have this section of this podcast is sponsored by Google.
Ooh,
because
I have a
everybody just Googled. But I just didn't find one that I was like, yeah, I seen that one, and I knew I'm gonna talk to because. Like all of them were like, George Clooney started off in this movie. I was like, yeah, I don't know that.
I got one.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
What's good?
Shout out to an
That's a
episode
classic.
that hasn't come out yet. But I'm gonna get that joke out before anyone else does. But Octavia Spencer in Blue Streak, the movie we recently talked about.
Yeah, but that movie is good.
Did we recently 3 episodes ago? Now, is it recent? Does it feel recent?
All right, that's cool.
It felt like for a second. It felt like obviously this is if TJ does it right. Obviously this will come out after those episodes. So maybe our future people don't know what we're talking about. But it felt like for a split second, like, oh, okay, everything is coming out. We're gonna get back to it, and then no,
Wrong. Absolutely
just
not.
stop. Stop.
Well, that's a
Watch
good question
these,
too.
you like it. You take this and you like it.
Has there been any roles that you've seen someone be so bad in the beginning and they're like, oh, they've like matured a bit as an actor or actress, like the more you watch
I got a
them?
perfect one for that. I love The Last Jedi. I think it's amazing.
Mhm.
But Carrie Fisher's daughter is in that, and
She's raw.
awful. She's just like, her line readings are just very bad. But then in Booksmart, amazing.
Steals the
She's
show.
so good in that, and she's so natural, and she's just like, I think it's just a role that fit her better, and like she wasn't trying so hard, maybe.
That was like her role.
And what's her name? I'm sorry, I'm blanking on her name.
When what?
And now I feel bad because I don't also want to be like Carrie Fisher's daughter. She's her own person.
Don't try.
Oh, well, she's known as Carrie Fisher's daughter. No, I'm kidding. You're right.
Yusef, get on your phone and tell us. Who is it?
Got it.
Billy.
Lord.
Billy, yeah.
Jesus
Billie
Christ.
She has
Eilish,
a
that's
similar.
right. Billie Eilish is Carrie Fisher's daughter, everybody.
Billie Eilish had the same role in Scream Queens, kind of too, that she did in Booksmart, where they let her be a little weirder and wasn't trying to, like, it fit with her character.
Yeah. So that was one that I like had to. I still feel bad because I still in Last Jedi she always sticks out to me, and I'm always like, oh, like I cringe a little bit, but I'm always remind myself like, no, she can be good. It's just this one thing.
Speaking of her
co-star, the episodes of our other podcast, if TJ has dropped them, we do have a joke about people googling stuff mid-show. So that was, I'll call back to the episode.
Yeah, we do. See, we do callbacks. We reward continued viewership with callbacks.
Yeah.
And, based on what I've seen from our movie this week, people mostly just like to laugh at references that they recognize. So, so they will enjoy this callback. But I can
I'd like to argue that on behalf of my wife, who does not know any of those references, and that's her favorite movie.
What?
We'll get
Transition.
Sure, we'll get into it. It's fine.
All right. Speaking of that, parody movies, favorite and least favorite. Taking not another teen movie off the table because we will talk about that later.
Surprised of how many parody movies I genuinely love.
Yusef, let's
also like, what do you guys? I wanted to ask you this because how do you define a parody movie? Like, is a movie that's just like, does it have to have a specific reference, like movies like Not Another Teen Movie or Airplane or the scary movies where they're like the main plot is based on another movie, or do you consider something like Shaun of the Dead where it's more like a genre parody, but it has its whole totally own plot? Like
No,
or
because
something like What We Do in the
parody.
Shadows.
Yeah, I
Maybe-
think there's parody in it, but I
Yeah.
think
Yeah,
it's its own
I
thing.
consider kind of both. I mean, one has a more like, you know exactly what you're going, like what you're saying. It's based off a movie. Like there's something like that, but there's.
It actually takes its
Yeah.
bones, its structure from
But then
another
the
movie.
evolution of it kind of turned into doing a Shaun of the Dead or a movie that I've written down where it's like where it's just like its own thing, but it has tons of fucking tropes and everything you would see in that, but it definitely spins it. So
MacGruber.
yeah, so it's like one of those
MacGruber's a
type of
parody,
things.
yeah.
It's tough, but yeah.
I know what you're saying.
I just think there are movies that are like, I guess there's some that I saw Google recommended me a lot of like genre comedies, and it would just be like, that's not a parody movie, that's just a horror comedy. Like it just happens to have jokes, but it's not like based specifically on, I don't know. So I just wanted to kind of see what you guys thought about that.
I think that's a good divide.
I'll be open to anything you guys want to talk about. I don't care.
I wouldn't
feel
say
like the best-
Shaun of the Dead is because there's like a legit movie and like there's comedy and it's
Horror.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a horror movie.
Well, it has it's like there are tropes in it, but it has its own structure. It follows its own plot.
Yeah.
It isn't like Scary Movie is Scream, and then they also hang the trappings of some other. Same thing with Not Another Teen
Austin
Movie.
Powers
She's all
is-
that, but they hang the trappings of some other movies on it also. You know.
So
I feel like the best one that blurs that line is and probably maybe it's in one of you guys' list, and then you can just start talking about it. It's Walk Hard, Dewey Cox.
Oh. That's my number one, of course.
Yeah.
That's the best parody movie as far as I'm
Brian.
concerned.
Just saw it for the first time recently,
Yes.
and it's fucking incredible.
It's great.
Yeah, slaps.
If you've ever seen a musical biopic, it's just so amazing. Hits the nail on the head so well.
Brian said it like, I don't know, probably a couple of years ago when we were talking about it, and you were like, I don't know how anyone ever made a biopic after that music biopic.
It ruined them for me. Like I only see the tropes now.
That was
I'm with
after the Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, I was like, and I love that.
Well, and also Ray came out like this, like a year before the Walk the Line, so there's a lot of Ray in it. But they literally hit all the different,
Dreamgirls probably came out right after that too. So like all in that little window.
There's never been a time we weren't getting inundated with musical biopics, really.
They even went back in Walk Hard and they made fun of the Doors movie and like. So they weren't just doing that specific years, but it was like Brian said, it was the dressing of Walk the Line. Then with other.
And then I would say the only thing they don't cover, which would be hip hop culture, you can watch Never Stop, Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stop.
So that's my number one.
And that's like those two, like as a 2-pack, cover all genres of music.
You could throw CB4 in if you just want hip hop. But it's not as like it doesn't hold up really. It's not as polished.
The comedy isn't as tight as Never
Pop Star is one of my favorite movies of all time, like comedies, and that's my Walk Hard in that parody. You brought it up, so I'll just talk about it. That movie also, beat for beat, they do their own story, but the Lonely Island is, I think, at the peak of their game making that movie, and the songs are like they're catchy, but they're really
they're hilarious. Like the one about,
not gay. Chicken wings.
I'm not gay. Yeah, that's hilarious. But the one that I wrote down is the one that I grew up with. I think it's tied with Airplane.
Yeah.
But it's Hot Shots Part 2.
Part 2. Yes.
They really destroy Rambo and all those macho action genres. As a kid, I would fucking love every time like he would shot the fucking chicken and the hilarious nature.
Well, the first one's like a Top Gun parody, and the second one's a Rambo parody, right? Which is, I love that they like managed to hit so much. Like they were like, no, we got more gas in the tank. Let's do another, same genre but like another style. Like,
and I feel like it's common knowledge that it's better than the first one. Like,
would you guys
so much better?
Speaking of Hot Shots, because it reminds me of this, would you guys count, and I don't think it is a parody movie, but would you count UHF?
It's a great line.
It's tough because it has a lot of parodies in it because of the style, because they get to jump around a lot,
But it's not.
But it's
overall, it's like its own movie.
Because of Weird Al's comedic nature.
Also,
parody.
Like I saw, you guys know the movie Stay Tuned. That was another one that I saw on the list. I was like, that's not a parody movie. It's got some parody in it, but because there's different TV shows parodied. But
you know what's a shame about we're talking about parody movies for the people who aren't listening, but that what happened to parody movies is the world was after Scary Movie and that probably after Not Another Teen Movie even. Was inundated with literally you just put a noun in front of it movie and they were inundated with these terrible
horrible
movie.
Yeah,
epic
movie. They got away from parodying a whole genre. Like the one thing I will say about the first I like the first Scary Movie. It's pretty funny. Second one is kind of a guilty pleasure for me. I still will watch the second one, but it's definitely the cracks were already showing and how weak the franchise was going to be. It didn't have the staying power. They couldn't keep up.
The third one.
And then really... I would say Not Another Teen Movie maybe is the last decent one. And then they kept naming them like genres, but they never parodied the genre. They just would talk about the movies that came out the year before. It was whatever was out the summer before. There's even ones in Not Another Teen Movie that I don't think hold up. Like I don't think the American Beauty references hold up very well in Not Another Teen Movie. That's not memorable enough.
Back to Hot Shots.
Sorry,
probably.
When he puts on the gloves and he's like, it's so fucking funny.
When she gives her beauty mark to him, and then he gives it like. But she is hands down one of the best fucking my heart. I was one of my first loves on film. I don't know if she's been in anything else. I think she's in one other thing. I'm not too sure.
That's
Love
what
it.
we do.
Yeah, that's what we do. Yeah.
Yeah, we Google on our podcast. I'll vamp. You guys Google. It's cool.
Robin Hood Men in Another one popped in my head. Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Okay. Well, before you guys start stealing, I wasn't going to say Robin Hood Men in Tights because that's I would consider that lesser Mel Brooks. But I do have some...
Valeria Golino.
Okay.
My heart.
She's in Rain Man.
Yeah, I don't remember.
And Pee-wee.
Oh, that's what Pee-wee. Yeah, the Pee-wee's Big Top Pee-wee.
Yeah. So this section is brought to you by Google. Use Google for your needs.
We just Google things, and you listen to us Google things that you could have Googled yourself. Makes for a really good show. People love it.
Google.com/flyover and get your 10%.
I'm going to pull out my thesaurus next, okay?
All right, Brian, you're up, man. You're going to say what I would say.
Joe was talking about Men in Tights, and I grew up on Spaceballs, but the Mel Brooks movie I chose to talk about, to mention, was High Anxiety. I don't think as many people our age have gone back and watched older Mel Brooks movies. High Anxiety is a parody of Vertigo, but also of kind of a lot of Alfred Hitchcock movies. He kind of touches on some other things, and it's really good.
He does the bait with the airplane, right?
Yeah, he does North by Northwest. There's some North by North. I think there's some birds in there. I think there's he hits a lot of the classics.
What's it called?
And I'm not a guy. Yeah, it's called High Anxiety. And I'm not a guy who reveres Alfred Hitchcock, but it kind of can respect, what his place. But nobody takes it down like Mel Brooks. So
would you say Mel Brooks is the modern day Godfather of the parody movie? Because
him and I would say then the Zucker brothers with Airplane and the Naked Guns and stuff like that.
I mean, you have Young Frankenstein. And Blazing Saddles.
I could have done any of those. That's why I brought up High Anxiety, because those are everybody knows those.
anyone who still says you couldn't get away with Blazing Saddles, say you do not get the point of Blazing Saddles. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, get out of there. That's just some disingenuous nonsense. I do have a couple more I want to shout out.
Yeah, go.
These can be quick ones.
Open conversation.
Another lesser known one. Johnny Dangerously. It's a mob parody starring Michael Keaton from the 80s.
Silence of the Hams?
Funny. No,
Mafia?
that we haven't talked about the bad ones yet, Joe. Save it.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
And then my other one, I don't know if this is a guilty pleasure, I don't know how anybody feels, but Kung Pao, Enter the Fist.
Oh yes.
Enter the
Fist. such a dumb and super fun movie.
Go for Chucks. We watched it recently.
That's one I've never seen. So.
Oh, TJ, you'd get.
That's like a Pootie Tang thing. I've never seen Pootie Tang either. Just like
Pootie Tang's not as good as Kung Pao.
Nah,
That's fine.
No, is there any modern parodies that's not Popstar or Walk Hard that we're not naming? I mean,
we can start talking about some of the bad ones if you want, because the string of things that came out after Not Another Teen Movie all fall into that category.
I do want to clear Scary Movie 3 up, because that did come out at the perfect time when I was like 12 or 13, and we all went to the movies to see it, and we actually like got a kick out of it, and I still have a soft spot and find some of the jokes in it really funny. But after that one, I was like, they were terrible. Like
I'm kind of that way. I didn't make it past that.
Does the Final Girls count as a parody movie?
No, so that to me, that's like into its own. Like
again, that's like calling Behind the Mask a parody movie. I saw that one on the list too, and I was like, it's more of a genre kind of meta comedy.
You already mentioned all the scary movies after the second one suck ass, but the one that made me physically ill watching it in the theater was Epic Movie.
Yeah, so bad.
It was like beyond bad. And that's when I knew that it was over. Like no matter whatever you're gonna throw at it, the genre died. I
didn't realize how many of those, because there's like superhero movie, date movie, epic movie, disaster movie. I didn't realize how many they did.
Which one? And maybe if it was through one, like 4 of them that Brian just named. At one point, they were parodying like Meet the Parents bits and like Meet the Fockers bits in there.
They did Meet the Spartans. That was like a 300.
Yeah, okay. It's already a comedy.
Not other teen movies are already making fun of.
Yeah, but they did that.
You can make fun of
rom-coms and like.
They did that like smartly though, because those movies are.
That's the thing. They all just became about like whatever the movies that came out the summer before, and that's all it was. It was just references.
Sucked. It's like,
but I was ahead of the curve.
Baddies, but badly done. Like you remember when he milked a cat once. So
I do have 2 bad ones I want to call out because you said save them. Jay Moore's Mafia.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Just awful.
You were just tricked because Lloyd Bridges is in it. Not every movie that Lloyd Bridges is in is good.
And the say hello
and Silence of the Hams, guys.
Yeah, with the gun.
Dom DeLuise.
Yeah, I had to go back to some older ones too because I didn't watch. Like, I was like, nope, not going to see Epic Movie. Like, once I think Not Another Teen Movie I watched on DVD. I don't think I ever saw it in the theater. I don't know, but I bailed on that whole genre pretty quickly. So I had to go back a little farther to ones that I saw that I actually hated. You guys remember Spy Hard?
Yes.
Yeah, and
it's
also
on my
Dracula.
Austin Powers 4-pack.
Also Dracula Dead and Loving It.
Leslie really fell off the wagon.
Right, trying to cash in on those Naked Gun goodwill, and he just didn't have it anymore.
Mm-hmm. They have a 4-pack DVD, those ones, and that's the Austin Powers I own. And there's clearly not a 4th Austin Powers, so they threw Spy Hard on there.
Nice.
TJ, because I feel like this will upset you.
Uh-oh.
Oh, shit. I just lost.
You're
sorry.
Ugly. There, we said
it. You're ugly. No.
Jesus.
God, no, I'm
calling my mom.
I had a thought and I lost it. I am sorry. That was bad. It's bad radio.
All right, let's go to a movie game.
No. Keep talking.
Movie game.
But
shout out! Don't be a menace to South Central while drinking your juice.
Oh, that's a great parody.
Mm-hmm.
Wayne's Brothers, even like I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, it has a special place. Like, Wayne's
Low Down Dirty Shame should have been a parody.
Yeah, they're bad. Anyway, okay. What you got for a game? I'm realizing we're going on.
All right, so the last time we did, I think it was horror movies. I poorly describe a movie, and you guys try to guess the movie. This time we're gonna do comedies because we supposedly watched a comedy. So let's. I mean, it's humorous. Joe, it's humorous. I'll give you that.
We're gonna get uninvited to Joe and Laura's wedding because of this.
I want to invite you, but like, man, like she might be asleep, so she might not join this conversation as originally planned. But
Probably
I have to
best.
defend a little bit for her.
All right. No, I enjoyed it. I'm fine. All right. Whatever. So I'm going to finish what I'm saying, and then I'll say, name that movie. You'll say your name. If you interrupt me before I say name that movie, you're eliminated from the round. If the two dudes that did not interrupt me miss, then you can answer. All right? All right. All right. Let's start. Nepotism is always frowned upon, even within the auto parts plants. But
Joe.
This fat guy in a little coat will set out to save the company with the help of his uptight sidekick. Name that movie.
Joe.
Brian.
Tommy Boy.
Damn. I forgot we had a
Joe threw me off, man. He fucking
like
did the whole
Joe,
thing.
like you took so long explaining the rules, and then you didn't have like half of the first sentence out. And Joe's like, Joe.
Flyover State of Film trope.
And I stopped listening to the question because Joe fucking cut it.
Joe was like, get on with I'm
Joe!
stressing all these rules. Just get to the game. Then he immediately just, Joe.
God.
All right. Harvard from afar might seem like an unreachable goal, but for a Cosmo girl that has mastered the rules of hair care, it's a walk in the woods. Name that movie.
TJ.
Brian. TJ.
Legally Blonde.
That's correct.
Say my name first.
No, you didn't.
Bitches.
All right. This duo will seek out their desired munchies quenchers as if it was their destiny, and nothing will stop their quest, not even a child star. Name that movie.
Joe.
TJ.
Joe.
Howard and Kumar go to White Castle.
All right. It's tie 1-1-1-1. All right. This one may seem hard, but it's easy. While it's often referred to as the best day of the week, for this pair of down on their luck friends, it could mean the end of their life. Name that movie.
TJ.
TJ.
Friday.
Yeah. Oh my God, TJ's in it.
I don't like
TJ's
Chicago TJ because he wins these games now.
TJ's in it. All right. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. Name that movie.
Joe.
Joe.
Groundhog's Day.
Fuck.
Yes. Joe 2, TJ 2, Brian 1.
Wow,
Tight
Brian.
competition.
You know what? I say my name. He doesn't call me.
Oh yeah, that now. Yeah, okay.
It must be the connection.
It must be your copy of
I
Red
must be on a delay.
All right. Love comes in all shapes and colors, baby blue and bright orange among them, but it will be dumb of her to ignore love that come across the country just for her. Name that movie.
Can you repeat the question?
Sir, love comes in all shapes and colors, baby blue and bright orange among them, but it will be dumb of her. Fuck you, man. You said repeat the fucking thing.
I didn't know that was the rules. You already said it once.
All right, what's up?
Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah. Yes. I said dumb. I said baby blue. I said orange.
Yeah.
Those were
Sorry,
the hits.
I didn't. I thought you already said say it, so I was asking to repeat the question.
Oh, that's fine, Joe. That's fine. 3 Joe, 2 TJ. Come on. Weddings can be expensive, tiresome, and a burden for the couple getting married and the guests. But if you follow the rules, it could be a great hunting ground. Name that movie.
Joe.
TJ.
Joe.
Wedding Crashers.
Yeah.
See, I hate all these movies, so I don't like.
Don't care. I didn't
Well,
say
I just don't
good
think
movies.
I just don't think about them when I'm thinking about like movies. When you're describing it, I'm never like, oh, don't forget the movie you hate. It might be that.
You hate a lot of movies. I can't keep up, bro. All right. Being a sociopath is often rewarded in life, and this Chicago native has his entire school by the balls. It will
TJ.
take one principal to stop this sociopath before he becomes the United States president. Name that movie.
Brian.
Joe.
Ian.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yes. TJ jumped the gun.
Thank you for referring to Ferris as a sociopath, by the way, because it's true.
People should watch my DVD Bunker episode. I really ripped on Ferris Bueller. You guys should check that
It's
out.
been so long since we've mentioned the Bunker.
Joe won the game, but I'm gonna read the last one. 40 years is not a.
Me and TJ tie it up here with the last question. Or?
You two
Yeah,
are
I'll
tied,
sit-
actually.
I'll
All
sit
right, you
this
sit
out.
out. This one is easy. 40 years is not a big deal if your goal is to put it in a hole. But if you find true love, 40 years is worth the wait. Name that movie.
TJ.
Brian.
40-year-old virgin.
Yes, sir. All right. So we're going to find out what Joe won at the end of the episode.
Ooh, it's my win. Okay.
He doesn't
Great.
have anything prepared, you guys. I'm going to let you know right now.
It's always
got
good.
nothing.
Brazil again.
I'm still thinking
All
about
right.
what we're going to watch.
So, all right. So while we do that, we'll talk about Not Another Teen Movie. Last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever, we did play a game also to determine this, and these guys had a bunch of options to choose from, and the numbers just landed on this movie.
We got burned. We got burned on this
You
one.
did. We could have been watching Boogie Nights or No Country for Old Men
I love that movie.
or 21 Jump Street.
No.
Or
Those are so good.
anyway,
Those are all
but
fun.
Not Another Teen Movie is a straight full-on gag parody of She's All That, where you literally could get confused with She's All That. That's how close they're parodying it. What I want to say about it is, it's my wife's favorite movie, so I've seen it a ton.
So he's not allowed to say anything bad about it.
No,
so,
I used to.
in
I
case
used
you were
to be like,
wondering.
I used to be like, it's fine, and I've watched it enough where I actually do really enjoy it, and there's a lot of jokes in it that I'm like, there's a lot of jokes in it that are better than the main gags. I don't think the main gags are as great, like, and that's a lot of these type of movies, like the fart and like shit humor and all that. Throw it out the window. But anyway, it stars a young Chris Evans' first role,
This is
and
his
I think he
first
should do
role.
more comedies because he's hysterical in this fucking movie.
But I feel like he's always done comedies with, his douchey persona, like in Scott Pilgrim or The Fantastic
Yeah.
Four.
Because he would have
Like-
done right after this, he would have done, which this isn't a good movie, but that Perfect Score movie about the SATs.
And he did Cellular with Kim Basinger and Jason Statham.
That's hilarious, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, really funny. Anyway, so yeah, I thought this would be a fun movie to pick. I think there's a lot of dumb shit in it that happens. Fan of the show Sam Levine is in it.
Saw that coming.
that character, I can't believe they hung with that bit the whole time.
It doesn't have a great payoff.
I was like,
I have one.
really? They're gonna have him do this voice? I thought it would be like a gimmick at the beginning, and then it would kind of fade.
I did
It
laugh.
did not.
Oh, see, I did laugh when he does get kicked in the face, how he goes up to them and he's like,
What's up, my
"Get the
young
house."
fellas? Yeah.
And they're like, that was funny. No, my favorite
because all
type of-
Asians know karate. That's the joke.
It's
right?
hilarious. Yeah,
Oh, see, I
absolutely.
didn't even pick up on that as part of the joke.
That's hilarious.
Uh,
The one joke though about racism that I did laugh was when the black dude runs into the other black dude.
That's one of my favorite
It's
parts.
like,
Well,
yeah.
I think that speaks to like Joe was talking about. There are a lot of different jokes, a lot of different kinds of jokes in this movie.
yes.
There's like jokes that are based on the genre and that like pull apart things like there only being one black friend who's only there to laugh at your jokes and make catchphrases and like the
That is
whole
right.
idea of like the structure. There's stuff there, and that's probably like the best structured jokes in the movie. But then
Yeah.
there's like the more absurdist stuff and a lot of like ADR lines that are just background lines that people say and stuff. That's like the stuff that comes out of Scary Movie, where you can tell they're kind of like aping that
Yeah.
style.
Yeah, you
But
can
then-
tell that.
then there's
they
a thing
finished
that's
and
not
they were
a
like,
joke.
Let's make it funnier by adding a random joke in the background.
But some of those really work, like when she gets water poured on her, and you just hear a girl yell, "It's gonna leave a stain." Like,
No, there were some really. Like I said, I think some of those jokes really work.
and I like talking about structure. The movie actually gets laid out on the board when you see the school at first. It's like Monday, school starts, like Wednesday, Friday night, big football game, Saturday prom. Like the whole movie the joke of the movie is it takes a course of over a week too, which is really
the whole school year. Yeah. But a lot of what the problem is with this too, and it's like some of the jokes aren't jokes, they're just references, and that gets annoying. You know what I mean? It's like just having them dressed like the kids in the Breakfast Club and sit in the Breakfast Club library and have Paul Gleason show up. Yeah, it's a good way to get a cheap chuckle of recognition out of me, but if there's no jokes, there's not funny. It's not.
That kid playing the Oz Striker.
The kid playing Ox is from Detroit Rock City. That's he's the drummer.
One thing I did want to say.
The guy from American Pie too. That kind of fucked me up.
One thing I wanted.
But the one guy returning for recognition that actually has a good payoff is Billy Bob.
That is the funniest fucking thing ever. Just because. Because I was gonna say this isn't only she's all that. They also have a big crossover Varsity Blues storyline throughout this too. So you get the
definitely have parts of tons of different movies. There's little bits of
the coach. God damn it! God damn it! Just every fucking scene.
The John Benjamin just being like, "I love you."
Yeah. Oh. That dude, because he's one of those guys who, when they're young, they still look old, like a Tom Segura. But when he started talking, I was like, Bob's. And then he's just like, I love you. And you're just like, God, I fucking love that guy's voice.
You know what's fun? So this movie, we were talking earlier, and I want to bring this up. So we have the DVD. This is a hard movie actually to find on DVD of just the original movie.
Yeah.
We have the unrated version. I don't think you guys.
That's the only one you want to get if you want to do it.
So. Earlier, you were talking about getting DVDs, and this and Old School reminded me, because you go to the menu screen, it's just the girls taking their tops off, just like a DVD, and I'm like, they slapped that unrated on it, and they just meant if you're 13, you could get away with buying this to jerk off to.
Yeah. Watch. This has boobs in it, so watch it.
Because the movie itself is more of a joke than that. I know Chris. I've heard it because my wife's obsessed with it. Chris Evans apparently gets ripped on by his friends from home all the time for the whipped cream and banana.
I have a thing about that. I have a thing.
All I could think about how it was that it was so obviously a prop because the banana wasn't placed in the right spot to actually be up his ass. I was like, it would be lower. It would be much lower.
He has to really thank TRT and steroids because that wasn't America's ass. That was a flat little ass compared to what Captain America has.
Captain America's got it going on.
Yeah, but at the same time, he just because it's weird that Disney would hire him to be Captain America after a role not after. It's years later compared to when Captain America came out.
Yeah, he was in the Fantastic Four,
he says some shit, and the jokes in there are it's right on that edge of when people started catching shit like that.
One of my other favorite structure jokes in this is how he's also the third string quarterback.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. Going on Brian saying I think
the joke when the kid gets split in half when that's hilarious.
Lucas,
that's such a funny. The Rudy,
one thing I picked up on this time
I love Mr. T. I love Mr. T also.
There's fun of Can't Hardly Wait in it too, which is great because
plus I think they'll do each segment is a different movie because I guess it mostly feels like Can't Hardly Wait, but it's also every teen movie that ends with a big party. You know what I mean? It's just they hit on those big party tropes. Yeah. Oh, the fact that they have the super old lady play the Drew Barrymore, that's hysterical.
Didn't watch that part, man. And then do the Cruel Intentions thing where
that gross.
What the fuck is wrong with this family?
That was hot. That was hot. I was into that one.
Why can't somebody on my chest?
It goes into musical too at one point when they do the whole.
I like that. It made me think of Grease, and I was like, I'm glad. And it actually was a little prescient because High School the Musical came after this, and and Glee and all that. So musical high school stuff got even bigger after this movie came out. So it's even more. It feels even more modern and more up to date.
The one thing I did notice this time around with the Can't Hardly Wait joke is that Lacey Chabert's character is the same name. They just used Amanda Beckett. Same name as they do in
and they did the Party of Five thing that she was the whole thing. But I think like the one thing that kind of hurts this movie at some points, because I mean I'm gonna just say right now I'm a fan, is like the bits that they'll do. Like there was that one thing where they did again going back to Varsity Blues where they do the can off the top of the head and they spend
That is in the unrated cut.
It's like, oh really? They spent like 6 minutes on that
unrated
scene, just
one.
him throwing the ball
sucks.
and missing over and over and over again. It's like the first 30 seconds, funny, I get it. But then they just fucking sat on it and kept doing it for fucking ever.
That's in the unrated cut. I noticed, because like I said, I have an expert in the other room. She's just sleeping.
The one joke, there's 2 jokes that made me laugh this time. And one of them was when the Tourette's girl just calls the quarterback like, "Limp dick motherfucker." He's like, "Who told you that?" He gets real defensive real quick.
She ends up playing the daughter like Reba in like a classic old Fox or ABC show for years, and then this role just like in the background where she's saying like, "Cunt," so and so.
She's married to Brian Urlacher.
Oh yeah.
Is she supposed to be Tracy Flick from Election?
No,
is that vibe at all? Does anybody feel?
She wears the same outfits.
She looks like her visually. I feel like they're trying to do that.
Maybe you're right. I mean, they do roll a lot in. One else is funny is talking about the when she's painting all crazily, this and that, and then it's just like circle
figures. Oh, that's so funny.
He's like, you have your mother's eyes.
No, it's yeah. Well, she also has a great joke where she's like, "How'd she die?" And she goes on and on and on. He's like, "Oh my God, car accident." She's like, "No, cancer," and just clicks and just moves on to the next conversation. Like those like weird things, but like we're not mentioning one of the main characters in this, Randy Quaid.
I was just about to say that Rick Dukeman is a better version of the fucked up dad in Scary Movie, and I think Randy Quaid is too much in this. I'm like, this shouldn't be. There shouldn't be so much Randy Quaid in this.
The pies on the table made me laugh when he comes back, but that's a visual gag.
That's true, actually. That's a great point, Brian. That the Scary Movie fucked up dad is better. That's true.
It's so much better. He's like, "What are we doing in the costume? We flush everything. We did.
You get muffins.
Use baking soda, not baking powder."
Yeah, Randy Quaid does not work.
I just watched Blank Check with him, and I just fucking was cracking up. I'm just like, this limo driver doesn't give a shit about this kid just driving around to get paid.
I love.
Different movie.
Oh, I miss him. I'm sure he's still alive, but like.
No, he's not. He died.
Oh, then I miss him.
R.I.P. then.
R.I.P. He's to a real one. He's a legend.
Yeah, man. But I think this is a more top parody movie than what we have as a slate.
I agree. It's like
over the
it's in the top end. I'll tell you what hurts it, and I think it hurts the Scary Movies too, is the like over the top like scatological and like sex jokes. It's like it's not that it's not funny, there's just too much. It would be funnier with a little bit less. Like it's just every time all right. It just like I get bored with it. It would be a little, you could hit it a little harder and like save it and really make it land.
Well, it's like,
better if you did it a little less. That's just personal.
What's a good example of that works well of the same era too is like Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle has better jokes where they're not relying on sex the whole time, and when it hits, it hits.
They do like the watching the girls pee and they shit themselves thing. They do like the one fucking joke where she's like, how come every time I tell a guy you can put it where he puts it in my ass, and then like she's like, then after I'm done, I should just like, I was 14 watching this, so I'm just like, this shit's wild. Like,
my fucking wife told me her and her girlfriends and like growing up, this was like their number one quoted like movie together. And I'm like,
that's what I'm saying. Like people like that was like the line that like.
Oh, we didn't talk about the Queen to Jamie Presley. I'm sorry, I gotta shout out Jamie Presley before we end this conversation. So good, fully 35 when this movie was made, I think.
And
not
dropping the M
person.
word with full confidence.
Yeah.
Full confidence.
I was wondering if that was a voiceover.
It sounded like voiceover, but it's funny. It's funny in the bit because they're just watching.
Shake our big booties and show it. Oh,
yeah. We didn't steal anything
Like she's totally playing a middle-aged trailer park mom like a year later in My Name Is Earl.
I gotta give also one thing that's the main thing. It's said all the time is the glasses and ponytail bit, because we just saw it in Wonder Woman 84, and this movie called it out 20 years before.
She's like
glasses and ponytail.
She's
and
got
like,
paint on her overall.
I
What's
will
that?
say that's a funny bit where he's trying to find the right girl, and like the hunchback walks by, and then you got the conjoined twins who, when they actually won, like the callback to have when he's like they could win, and then the callback that they actually do win the prom queen. I was like, that's very funny, actually.
yeah, there's some good. Or even like the token black guy joke when he's running to find her and he knows all the information. He's like, that's all I know. Like
another really funny subtle joke with the black guy is that he's always like styled differently in every like some different stereotypical outfit or hairstyle.
He would have cornrows at one point, a fade. He had like long straight black hair. It's like,
you know what? You know what? And there's things I noticed last night. They said that I missed before. Joke that even though it's dated, reference still worked when the guy was like, "And Sabrina the Teenage Witch on everybody loves that on ABC on Friday nights or whatever." Yeah,
Joan Hart shows up.
Harry Dean Stadium.
Damn it! I forgot to ask because I was wondering if Joe, you were gonna have a joke about this episode where someone's like,
"Oh yeah, slow clap."
Slow clap. I had to say my favorite joke of the whole thing was the logo for the team, the Wasps, which was a wasp, but with like a polo shirt and a sweater around its shoulders. That's such a funny, like, what a funny design that is. That's so good.
It's a stupid movie, but
much like the first Scary Movie, it rides the line where like it's very stupid, but there's enough decent referential humor and other types of comedy too. Like it's not completely reliant on stuff you remember, so there's enough in it to like but like I said, you could see what kind of like we're saying about Scary Movie 2, like the seams were starting to pop, and you can tell why there weren't very many other successful versions.
You can tell why it's 84 minutes long. Well, what I said earlier of the show is, when I tell you my wife has not seen any of the movies they're parodying, and we'll watch those movies, and she'll go, "Oh, I get that joke now." Like, I know at least the movie itself, humor-wise, holds up for someone who doesn't even know that just is watching it for jokes.
Another thing about this
someone
movie,
who just watched the Austin Powers movies with a 10-year-old who's never seen a James Bond movie or any type of spy movie, really, I can understand.
Me too, for Austin Powers, because I was Harrison's age and I was obsessed with Austin Powers.
The first two are good. Like he said, the first two are great.
Yeah, first two are still very good. Every time I watch them,
ham sandwich.
This movie has also a great soundtrack to it.
Oh yeah, all the pop.
I thought you were gonna say boo. Good boo.
There's some good boobs in it too.
I was gonna say that the soundtrack would be better if it had the original versions of all the songs they use. They use a lot of covers.
But you probably couldn't pay. But like another thing too, like I'm wondering if they had some type of like John Hughes rights, because they show Pretty in Pink.
John Hughes.
They said, I mean, well, like even because like the first she's all that movie she's watching in the
Anthony Michael Hall cafeteria.
It's the Anthony Michael Dining Hall.
Oh, Anthony Michael Dining Hall. Harry Dean Stadium.
Yeah, but it's like one of those things where like the She's All That movie she's watching in the beginning of this film, where it's like the intro, this American Pie style, isn't She's All That. Then she's watching Pretty in Pink at one point, where they obviously has to have the rights to put that up on there.
Mm-hmm. They didn't have the rights to She's All That. That was I read that today, actually. It's pretty neat. When she's watching She's All That, it wasn't
her. It wasn't Rachel Lee Cook.
No, they shot it to look kind of like it, and then
exactly.
So blurry that they were able to get away with it, thinking it's She's All That. But it is Pretty in Pink. And Molly Ringwald shows up, and she has a fun ending scene.
I would have liked more like cameos, like maybe a Freddie Prinze or even like Ryan Felipe and shit like that.
They were too. I think they were not in on the joke at the time. They were still making those movies. Like Freddie Prinze Jr. still had Summer Catch coming out.
I would have brought back some people like Anthony Michael Hall and Emilio. That's who I would have. People from the classics.
You make them like the
Drew
teachers or
Barrymore.
something.
Or like Seth Green for doing like Can't Hardly Wait, because obviously we touch on that a lot too. Because that's what's half the base. Those three kids is like American Pie, Can't Hardly Wait. Yeah, shit like that. But that kid, the little brother, man, something about him just reminded me of a lot of kids I fucking went to high school with. Just like
His white.
The hair.
the hair and like the outfit, the fucking huge shorts and shit like that.
Oh, when he beats him up. When he beats him up and he's like, and you leave him alone.
You little shit.
They even get in, it doesn't work, I don't think, in the movie, but they even get in a Footloose fucking joke.
Really?
At the end of the dance when the guy's like, everybody, let's dance, and he just gets the shit kicked out of him.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it doesn't work, the joke doesn't work, but they try to squeeze in, like, every ounce and the ducky friend does kill me of them being like, shut the fuck up. Like, no one gives them the time of day.
Yeah.
There's a girl on this plane.
No, we already did
Get the
that.
fuck out of here, dude. Just all beat the fuck up.
Like, the cars are fucking just hitting him.
When he does like the 10 things I hate about you thing to her, when he's like, 10 things I love about Janie Briggs, and everyone's like, hi, fuck, and then he gets started like crying. He's like, when I stand outside your window at night and breathe heavily, and it's like, all right, so good.
All right, Jusef, do it.
Do it.
Let's go to the ratings phase.
Who's gonna start? You want me to start? All right. This movie hit me in like a sweet spot again, in between like that, like 13, 14-ish, 15. I don't really fucking remember. Maybe freshman year or something like that.
It was 2001, I think. 2000.
Yeah, freshman year then. So like, I'm a big fan. I'll give this definitely like a 7.5. Chris Evans flat butts. You know what I mean? It's up there. It's definitely a top parody for me. With Scary Movie with me doesn't hit so much anymore, but I haven't watched the movie in a long time, and watching it again kind of brought back some fond memories, but also at some points it's just this movie's not great anymore, but I'll still do it. 7.5.
Brian.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like I said, this movie's at its best when it's like actually parodying something, and you know, although I enjoy some of the visual references, they're a little bit late. You know, there's a little bit of like lazy kind of secondhand shorthand with that, and it's definitely, like I said, this was a genre that was so quickly, it was like rebirth with the Scary Movie, and by this movie, which is like 2 years later, it was already on our way. It was like in its death spiral already.
It had a Pauly Shore lifespan.
Right. But I do actually think, because they do a better job of actually parodying the genre they're trying to parody and like staying on topic, and you know, even though, you know, they stray a little bit, I think for the most part there's some pretty funny stuff. I would give this like a 6 probably.
Sure.
6 ponytails and painted overalls.
What is that?
Yeah, I agree. It's not only that it has good humor, like the actors really are selling it. Like everybody has good comedic not everybody, but most of them have.
It's got a pretty good kid. It's got a pretty solid cast.
I didn't realize the guy who like the friend who makes the bet with, the guy he's parodying is supposed to be 2 Paul Walker roles.
Yeah, I definitely knew he was at least Paul Walker from Varsity Blues.
Yeah, and Paul Walker from She's All That. Anyway, sorry, Jusef, you reminded me of with the cast.
And he's funny too, and he's very he has a few roles, and he's also in
Dumb and Dumber.
I think he's good. He's a good dude. I agree with Brian. I'm gonna do 6 slow clapping. 6 slow claps. Fun movie. It's, you know, it's not a bad rewatch. I can see why people would love.
There's worse ways to spend 85 minutes, you know.
Yeah. Joe.
Yeah, so one thing I do want to say, I do wish the movie did parody, and I'm thinking about how corny She's All That is. Like, truly, like, I do wish they parodied Freddie Prinze Jr. in the hacky sack scene.
Oh, yeah.
Just thinking about that out loud, like, because that deserves to be made fun of. like that's a big part of fucking She's All That is that he can play hacky sack.
I feel
Anyway.
like they,
I don't think
they
I remember
start to do
She's All
something with that where he like gets into a circle that I thought was going to be a hack circle, but then it ends up being something else.
Maybe. Anyway, I don't want to get divorced.
So a perfect 10.
It's a 10 out of 10.
I do enjoy it. I think I'm right with TJ though on it. I would say me a little higher. I think I'm gonna go to 7.8. Reggie Ray concussions.
Hey, that was good. I love that joke.
When he's
too.
bleeding from his ears and he puts the helmet on backwards, that's funny.
He's not coming out of this game.
But can he play?
Let's see. I just got a text. Let's see if my rating.
Oh, that was the guy from Bob's Burger. That's the voice of Bob's Burger.
Come in here. She heard me. Come in here. She goes, "You don't want to get divorced. You told me you liked this film. I'm filing the papers."
I'm filing the papers.
That was a good rating.
Yeah, 7.8. That's almost an 8 out of 10. That's really good.
She's coming in here.
Uh-oh.
That's a high batting average.
Mom's coming in, guys. We're in trouble.
We need like a graphic.
Ow, I hurt myself too. I hurt myself too.
Do I hear not another teen movie slander in this
No.
house?
Not at all.
There was no slander.
I slandered a little bit.
Hey guys.
Hey, Laura.
Hey, Laura, good to see you. Not scared of nothing.
We
Can you hear
did nothing bad. It was a beautiful.
We're not here.
I gave it a high score.
So sorry, guys. We weren't on any audio. Everyone gave it an appropriate rating. TJ gave it a high score. I gave it a high score for Flyover.
All I hear as I'm walking to the bedroom is, well, I don't want to get divorced, so.
It was 7.8 Reggie Ray concussions.
Good rating system.
Yeah. TJ gave it a 7.6 flat asses because Chris Evans definitely did some steroids. Brian gave it a 6, which is a really good rating for Brian, and same with Jusef.
Nice. Okay. Good job, FlyBoys.
FlyBoys.
I don't want to get a divorce because I couldn't give it like a low score, but I've enjoyed the movie.
For so long, I've told people that my favorite movie was like other, more like highbrow movies, but then earlier
Highbrow by she means Legally Blonde.
Well, the movie has legally in the title. That's very, very nice.
It takes place in Harvard.
Not another teen movie.
But now she's come out. And,
I don't care anymore. This is my favorite.
No, those you don't owe those people anything. Be true to yourself.
Yeah.
It's not a bad movie to be at first.
Jusef, I like your background.
Thank you.
They're burritos.
I had 2 burritos, 2 burros.
To
In
Burros?
Texas? Is that
couple
your
little
backyard?
Sebastians.
Yeah, little Sebastians.
Hey, do you have anything you want to say about Not Another Teen Movie while we?
Yeah. Why do you love it?
While you're here, will you make a cameo appearance?
It's so just like such silly. It just brings me so much joy because it's so silly in it. Like all the little side jokes I think are great.
Oh,
Like
it's
people
definitely
yelling
a joke
back at
machine
them.
gun. Like just pop, 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 fired. Like
I feel like every time I would watch it, I would catch something new until I just like. Again, I think I forget who I tweeted it at, but like it just lives rent free. The whole movie lives rent free in my head. The amount of like lines me and my friends like quote to each other just in regular conversation is more than I like to admit.
I dealt with that.
What's your favorite quote?
Like middle school and high school.
Put it on your spot. What's the favorite quote?
Like three different ones came to my head. You have your mother's eyes, and then she's got paint on her overalls. Like,
I said both those.
She's paint on overalls. What is that?
It's gonna leave a stain. That one. I mean, also listeners, it's non-alcoholic beer.
They also use slow motion a lot, which is great. When even she's doing this, she's all that down the stairs and falls through. It's just because that's like in the trailer that it lives with you throughout those movies. So like when you watch it again, you're like, you know what's coming, but it still hits you the same every time.
An interesting thing about this movie for me is I saw this movie before I saw any of the other movies it was parodying, and I found it really funny. And then Joe was watching She's All That, and I was like, "Oh, are you watching another teen movie during the staircase scene?" And then I was really disappointed to learn he wasn't.
You know, and I was
I stand
disappointed
the
to
lead.
realize I wasn't either.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
no,
they jam-packed this movie, so you would have to watch like 20, 25 movies before you like actually get all the fucking references.
I don't have the time for that.
No, just watch Not on Key movie and you're done.
Yeah. There's not that many good ones, really. If you've seen one John Hughes movie, you've seen them all.
How dare you?
Breakfast Club is peak John Hughes. That's all you need.
Or
You had a poster of the Breakfast Club on your wall when we met.
I was a white girl. Of course I did.
Fair.
That's a fair answer.
That's the white
one's
girl
gonna
version
listen
of a
to the end
Fight
of this
Club
episode
poster.
anyway.
Like,
You can say whatever you want. Why are you looking at me like that?
it's like I can't say whatever.
So just thinking, like, what if I just put you on blast for things?
Please.
No, I want to go to bed. Bye, guys. Thank you for listening.
thanks for cameoing.
Put you on
The
blast.
check will be in the mail.
All right.
Whenever this
Now we have to pay
stops.
residuals on this episode to Laura.
Yes. She gets all
We're
the
gonna have to make a graphic before she comes in. You know,
special guest.
special guest.
My wife.
So next episode, me, Joe won, and I had this whole list planned out of movies.
Liar.
If Joe won, it would be 2 categories. So pick A or B, Joe.
B.
We're recently on like a nostalgia trip. We watched Batteries Not Included, and we just watched another team movie. So I was thinking
Blue
about
Streak,
movies that
arguably nostalgic for some people.
that as well.
Yes, for me.
And
And
I was
TJ.
thinking about like the first comedies that I became obsessed with, and it happens to have like what people think is the comedy legend, and that is Sir Billy Crystal. And we're gonna watch City Slickers.
Let's go.
Oh,
All right.
wow.
I've
I
only
believe
seen
it
that
is on
once.
Hulu. I believe
I
it's
would
on
say I don't
Hulu.
think I've seen that in over 20 years, and I remember the only thing I remember, he gets a pet cow in it.
I
Yeah.
thought you were going to
So,
say Running
I-
Scared, and I was
No.
about to quit.
No. I was obsessed with this movie as a kid. I would rent it all the time.
Now this is original flavor, right? We're not doing Legend of
Yeah.
Curly's Gold here.
No, not Legend Clearly. No.
Unless you want to complete the collection.
No.
There's a Funny or
as
Die
a
short
kid, I
skit,
didn't-
too.
As a kid, I didn't like Legend of Curly, so I don't think I'm gonna like it as an adult.
Hey,
So
you
City
would've
Slickers,
met that.
babies. Where can the people find ya? TJ.
You guys are on Flyover State of Film YouTube right now. Check out our latest bracket from the first part of this podcast.
I have short
it's
hair.
At least like the first 55 episodes, we go over the
54.
worst films we picked. 54. Thank you, Yusef.
Just so you guys know, City Slickers is on HBO Max.
Oh, Max.
Ooh,
I'm sorry,
snap.
Max, not Hulu.
Awesome. And also check out the Flyby with Joe and Yusef talking about Pauly Shore and his classic films. Again, Pauly Shore is one of the best actors of our time, so definitely check that out. Now you guys find me at TJDex on at TJDex on Twitter. Eventually talking about Zack Snyder movies nonstop, rent free in my head.
Rent free.
Yo,
You could find
can-
me at
where
Chandango.
can we find you and Laura? Plug Laura.
You find, I think Laura's Twitter is Laura_Chandango. And you can find me at just Chandango1 on Twitter. And then I currently have been making some fun TikTok, surprisingly, same name. New content, new platform, edgy.
It's gonna be soon. He's gonna move into
The
a
man
house.
loves to dance. What can we say?
Guys, this is now a
Whoa.
influencer house. Just watch yourself.
Brian.
Damn.
Brian.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Hercules. Some people follow me for my hot political takes. Some people for my hot and spicy movie takes. But always, you'll find me on the razor's edge of the thought, the theater of the mind, if you will. I don't know what that means, but I heard a smart person say it once. And
You
a
can
lot of
find
dumb
me-
people.
You can find me grilling in the backyard because that's all I do, baby. Why love me with a come? Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. See, you said you don't need a kid. You're already a dad.